a rogue pick here or there, it's still fine, even if you're not setting up for anything major like an arrow or sunstrike.
It's okay. I remembered to just start the recording again. We only missed a little bit, nothing too important, but yeah, we're gonna be seeing a Razor being picked up for NoEarth. Shadow Demon picked up, and Isurus now have the door open for someone who needs a play stun, i.e. that Mirana who was just banned out, possibly even a Leshrac, which has been people have been experimenting with that one a little bit, and it's a pretty decent hero to pick up. I think in this situation, no huge shutdowns for Leshrac. The burst damage is pretty high for NoEarth, but mostly in the Skywrath Mage, so if you could avoid that, you're golden. And as far as aggressive heroes are concerned, it's pretty nice with Shadow Demon Leshrac combination. So I think it would still be very much so on the table for Isurus Gaming to go for a route like that. But NoEarth, they're going to pick up the Razor. Still a pretty strong hero. Haven't seen him too much to know how hard that nerf actually hit him, but he's going to do some serious work. And suddenly Shadow Demon's defensive disruption not looking that great once the static link is already there.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue for Razor is that he can't really build mech very comfortably anymore, as that mana cost nerf has actually hit a couple of heroes pretty darn hard. Doom, Razor, as well as Viper in particular, heroes that used to be able to go for mechanism, and now it's a little bit more difficult for them to do so. I don't know, we'll see. I'm interested to see his build and how hard the nerf is going to hit, but I still think Razor is a solid hero all around. Nature's Prophet by Isurus is also pretty solid, doesn't have great synergy with the other two, Brewmaster and Shadow Demon. I don't know, just good stuff all around for Isurus. The next support for NoEarth Spirit is going to be Sand King, with already having the enabler of the concussive shot to allow the Burrow Strike to be a potent tool in the early game, as well as just being able to back off into the jungle and abuse that farm as well. It's a pretty solid pick all around for NoEarth Spirit, and I think it warrants the pick over the Earthshaker since you do have the Skywrath Mage in combination with it, as well as Legion Commander and Razor, both pretty self-sufficient heroes in lane.
These picks also are kind of encouraging NoEarth Spirit to play this game a little more aggressively. Of course, Sand King, once he gets his Blink Dagger, is going to want to go for kills pretty much non-stop, but I think the more aggressive NoEarth Spirit are, especially with his Legion Commander, the better off they'll be. They get more value out of that heal and the ability to buff out the slow from the Brewmaster, and, well, actually, that's pretty much it right now, but eventually, I'm sure they'll be able to buff out something else as well with Press the Attack, so I'd like to see NoEarth Spirit this game being played super aggressively, but Isurus, they've picked up Nature's Prophet as well as the Enigma. That's a lot of unit-based pushing. And you know who loves unit-based pushing? Legion Commander. So this could be pretty messy from Isurus.
Yeah, I think it's pretty questionable that they go for this Enigma and Nature's Prophet. The first two picks, I think, are fine, but I'm not liking the direction that they're going here. Their team fight is pretty solid with Brewmaster Split as well as Black Hole at their disposal, especially once they get Blink Daggers up on them. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be... Let's see, I believe 11 additional units. You have 5 of the Treants as well as 6 Eidolons if they split added to Legion Commander's overwhelming odds. And you also have natural creep waves as well as a couple of heroes that get snagged by that. It could hurt like none other. NoEarth Spirit have another hero to snag up. The ban coming out from them, I quite like it. The Kunkka would be nice for Isurus, although in lane would have difficulty up against a Razor if that is your matchup. Combos really well with the Shadow Demon. If you kill the Razor a couple of times, that's going to make up for the fact that your natural lane matchup isn't very good. Yeah, and the Silencer ban coming out from Isurus, they might be looking to invest a little bit more into the teamfight, but just with the Enigma as well as the Brewmaster, Global Silence could be devastating.
Alright, so with Silencer banned out, Isurus are going to look to secure the teamfight advantage. Only have to worry about the Sand King Epicenter in order to counteract their giant AoE, and Isurus should have it more or less on lockdown between Black Hole and Split. They need one more core hero. Nature's Prophet, Brewmaster, probably some late game scaling damage, or someone who can be super aggressive early on. You know, with the Enigma and Nature's Prophet pickup, the Leshrac gets a lot better here, because with Eidolons and all those units, you'll be able to tear down towers extremely quickly. That being said, still overwhelming odds is going to be the most deadly thing in this game, like almost bar none, because if you hit the overwhelming odds with the Eidolons and the Treants, and some poor hero is stuck within that, they're just dead. There's no way that they could escape that. It's like a 600 damage nuke or something like that. So it's pretty devastating, but Isurus, they might get around that just by applying pressure so early on that Legion, even if she does land that, is not going to be able to do anything else. Regardless, it's still going to be NoEarth Spirit waiting for their hero. And, well, it's 2 supports that they have, as well as potentially a tri-lane hero. Maybe the Razor is going to be in the tri-lane, maybe Legion Commander solo. Tidehunter's already out. Centaur is still in. Won't be the worst pick.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't. Sand King as well as Razor and Leech Commander all can benefit very heavily from the Stampede, but it's going to be a Medusa. Holy cannoli, I did not expect this. It's going to be an offlane Legion Commander again. I don't like it. And Medusa, I am very on the fence about this hero. Scales incredibly well into the late game. Do they have enough space creators in order to allow this Medusa to get online? I don't know. Their early game is incredibly greedy. Until they get the Blink Dagger on the Sand King and presumably Legion Commander, they're in for a very slow start.
Coucher is going to be so jealous. We were casting earlier today, and he was like, I just want to see a Medusa. That's all I want to see. And we could have seen one, but instead the team picked a Drow Ranger. But no, Medusa's going to show up in this game. Again, great hero versus all this unit-based pushing, can tear through those summons, and at the same time put a lot of damage onto NoEarth Spirit, and really, onto Isurus Gaming, rather. And Isurus don't really have many great tools to deal with the Medusa. They could put her in a black hole, throw her up into the air, put her into a bubble. Aside from that, they don't have any heroes that could actually go toe-to-toe and win in a late-game scenario. Isurus, they might want to pick up something like, hell, even an anti-mage at this point. Anything just to try to get through this Medusa, because if Medusa gets 1-2 items, then she's just going to be running this entire game.
I actually like the anti-mage pick here. Razor's kind of good against it, but Scarith Mage, a huge mana pool there. Medusa, traditionally is not going to have the greatest time up against an anti-mage. Ripping through the mana pool is one of the best ways to destroy Medusa, unless she's completely stacked. I don't know, it would also give them a decent amount of rat pressure with the Nature's Prophet. Their early laning stage is greedy, but I'm not sure NoEarth Spirit are going to punish it. Although they do have the Scarith Mage and the Sand King in order to do so, I'm pretty sure NoEarth Spirit would rather just hang on back and instead go the complete different direction in the Pugna.
Alright, so this is going to be one of those games where Isurus Gaming are going to be trying to push. That's the name of the game. They're going to want to push really hard, really fast, and constantly, so that NoEarth cannot get off the ground with this Medusa, because with this Pugna pick, Isurus do not have any late game contingency plan. If it does get to 30 plus minutes, then the Brewmaster might still be relevant, Pepita might be doing some damage, but that's about it. Medusa is going to be the best hero, and BanEarth, if they play super defensively, if they get some farm out of these lanes at all, then I think they're just going to be golden to take this. They're going to lose towers, that's going to happen. But if they keep most of their towers alive, or if they, have some sort of map control at all, then it's going to be a one game for BanEarth. So it's going to be a really interesting one. And, well, Medusa, I like how I got all the chat to try to believe it was Meepo. I'm really proud of myself for that. But, yeah, Medusa is going to be what this game hinges upon. Can she get to that critical mass? If yes, BanEarth win. If no, they lose.
Well, we're going to start out with the standard pause, at least for this series. And on the Radiant side, we are going to have Isurus Gaming, with Dulce handling the Brewmaster supports, Nidera on the Shadow Shaman, or Shadow Demon, excuse me, and fullback on the Enigma, DDX handling the Pugna, and Pepita on the Nature's Prophet. I'm not sure if Pugna is really the hero for DDX. He really thrives when he plays on flashy ones, like the Invoker, Storm Spirit, Queen of Pain. But either way, it is just a pushing game for Isurus. They're going to get a mechanism up on either Pugna or the Enigma, I assume on the Pugna, and then they get the blink for the Enigma, and then it's go time.
Alright, and on the BanEarth side, we have Alexi playing the Razor CSO, once again on the Legion Commander, same exact nice gear. Glacius is going to be supporting as the Sand King, as well as Ahart on the Scarith Mage. And that leaves the Medusa, who's going to be played by Fan of Soyon. And we'll see how much this Medusa actually gets done. Scarith Mage and Sand King is a decent enough defensive combination, and Isurus can't really go super aggressive versus this Medusa. They don't have like a Scarith Mage Shadow Shaman or something like that. With the Enigma pickup, their aggressive potential versus this Medusa is extremely limited, so unless Isurus makes some really nice rotations, I could see this Medusa getting pretty nice farm for a couple of minutes at the start of the game. Definitely not enough to win outright, but definitely enough to make BanEarth feel more comfortable with their situation once the pushes start happening.
Yep. It's going to probably be a pretty passive early game, as both teams are going to be abusing the jungle fairly heavily. No wards coming out from either side aggressively, and no rotations to put those out. So the Sand King, as well as the Enigma's farm, is more or less going to be untouched. If the supports are going to roam from BanEarth, they're the ones that have the more potential to get kills, can get a shot in a Burrow Strike. as well as just the innate damage coming up from the Skywrath Mage. Later on, once Arcane Bolt as well as the Silence comes through, it's definitely pretty solid, especially when you're talking about a target like the Pugna. It's going to be Razor versus Pugna in the mid matchup. Razor favored, although not by a huge margin. The Pugna Blast is still going to be pretty relevant, although it's not going to be a dominated lane by the Pugna by any stretch of the imagination, and if it's one, I think it's going to be by the Razor.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. And going back to the off lane, Dulce's the only one there at the moment. Fullback is going to be jungling, so it's going to be, for the most part, a Brewmaster versus Legion Commander lane, and that's actually not the worst. That's actually the lane I would have expected in the middle lane if this was any other game. So if these two heroes do clash, then at the very worst for NoEarth, CSO is going to be getting something. Like, she's not going to be completely shut down like in last game. So we get to see Legion Commander actually do stuff this game, and once again, it'll give us another chance to analyze how effective this hero is actually going to be. However, Nadara is going to spoil the fun. Shadow Demon is going to be doing zoning duty onto CSO. Still not the most kill potential between these two heroes, but it's enough pressure to keep the Legion Commander away from farm, but not away from experience, I would say.
Yeah, this game is definitely going to be a lot better than the earlier game for the Legion Commander due to the fact that she's up against a lot of pushing units as well as just being able to get those levels more or less guaranteed. And a couple of CS here or there. We'll make sure that Legion Commander is not completely high and dry. Double damage run on the Sand King, going to put a lot of pressure on Pepita, but Glacius doesn't want to dive the tower. I think he might have been able to go a little bit deeper for that. He didn't have enough mana for the secondary stun. So that's going to repel it. It forces Nature's Prophet very far back, and he won't see a single creep of experience, at least from this first wave.
Alright, so Glacius already trying to be a little bit aggressive versus Pepita, doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately not getting anything really concrete done. He does have the boots level 1, so he will be able to close in pretty quickly and land that Burrow Strike, especially if Skywrath Mage is opening with a concussive. So these two heroes, as far as roaming supports go, are fairly dangerous. So the Nature's Prophet and especially the Pugna have got to watch their backs, because if they mess up for only a second, suddenly Skywrath Mage and Sand King are right on top of them, and then those heroes are going to drop. And that rotation support isn't really available from Isurus. They can teleport to Nature's Prophet, but their supports are really low damage. So Isurus, they can't really make rotations onto this Medusa and Legion Commander.
Glacius does two things that I don't like. First is that he's going to Burrow Strike to kill off a Nature's Prophet tree, and Pepita, speaking of the Nature's Prophet, is taking a lot of damage, but we'll be fine as there's no Sand King backup. Also, doesn't wait for the stack on this camp. It isn't going to back off to get that. That's a missed opportunity and a lot of gold. The Sand King's just kind of letting sit there. I think going all the way back to base, if you are going to do so, at least pick up that stack on the large camp.
Well, Sand King is going to be not doing the best for NoEarth. That being said, everyone else should be doing decently. Pugna is running the mid lane as expected. Bottom lane is being very heavily favored in favor of the Brewmaster. Now they're going to try to set up for CSO. He has the heal, but now he's going to clap after the heal. In fact, CSO might have just costed himself this kill, or this survival. He's going to go down. A crucial mistake from the Legion Commander. You have to wait until the clap is out and then use press the attack. Otherwise, the clap is just going to slow you down, and Legion Commander doesn't have a stout shield or anything. She has no chance of surviving that without using a good press the attack.
Yep, that's going to cost her life. I'm not sure if she would have survived even if she did wait for it, but the chances are definitely higher, especially when you have a hasted Nadara. But either way, it's going to be first blood going the way of Isurus. It's not expected that the Legion Commander is going to have a great time, but at the very least, not dying is the goal for the Legion so that she can get those levels guaranteed. Nature's Prophet not having a time or a good time at all in his lane, even though he hasn't died, he's only halfway towards this level 2. At this point, I think you consider going straight off into the jungle with Pepita. He will have one lane that one huge wave that'll get guaranteed creep wave experience under his tower, which will be pretty huge. He is clearing up inside the lines, blocked off by the Skywrath Mage. They found him. Will he be able to juke successfully? They are looking for the big wraparound coming out from the Sand King. They have a Burrow Strike available, going to hold on to it for a long time, but the right clicks will be there. And Banner Spirit going to type the kill score 1-1. And now that creep wave, instead of serving as experience for Nature's Prophet, is going to put a lot of pressure onto his tier 1.
Nature's Prophet is going to jump right back into the lane. It's going to be, at the end, some experience for him, so we find ourselves a happy medium. He's still in a little bit of trouble, however. Concussive shot into run forward for a Burrow Strike is still a threat, and wow, the Skywrath Mage has actually gone for 2 points in concussive shot. That is very, very rarely seen, if you ever see it at all. And the reason it's such a big deal is because of the support. If you were a core Scarth Mage, I would say, okay, that's not a terribly huge deal. You're going to get more levels down the line. But Scarth Mage as support is going to be strapped for experience. And every single level counts. You need to be getting that Ancient Seal. You need to be getting the Arcane Bolt. Because leveling up concussive shot only gives you 60 damage. I thought it was just 50. But 60 damage a level, a little bit more slow. I guess it was just changed in 22, so leveling up is a little bit more appealing, but it's still not exactly the best way to go.
No, I would have liked to see the silence gives him a way to stop the TP coming up from the Nature's Prophet, or at least stop him from using the TP away if he's using the skill at the very least. And I don't know, I think it's just the better build all around. The concussive shot, it's a little bit more bang for your buck as far as mana is concerned, but it's not enough. Alex is going to eat a Decrepify Blast from the Pugna. Looking for the link, it's not going to get any damage, and DDX is going to put screws to Alex and force him back to base, it seems. Or at the very least, wait for his bottle to grow before he can actually get much more out of this lane. Pugna's doing very well up against this Razor. I wouldn't say I expected this, but DDX is having a great time. 19-7 compared to 16-6 of the Razor. Neither of them dying, and DDX just making good use of his harassing ability.
Oh my god, overwhelming odds. See all these health pools in the bottom lane? They were at full. But overwhelming odds is a strong skill. They're going to lose the tower, and that will refresh the fortification, but certainly the Legion Commander is fantastic in these situations. She got a little bit of experience off of this. She's almost at her level 6. And I think, although level 6 is important for duel, level 7 is really where CSO wants to go, because overwhelming odds is going to be the most devastating skill that NoEarth have for a very long time. If the Eidolons are summoned and if the Treants are there, oh man, that's like 600 damage, 500 damage-ish of nuke damage straight. It has a pretty large cooldown, but if you land one on 3-4 heroes, then that is just unspeakable amounts of value.
Arcane Boots on the Legion Commander are going to make sure she has the mana to keep that spammed out. Not your first boots choice for your Legion Commander, but honestly, I think it's completely fine. Top tier 1 is going to fall the way of the Medusa, and Medusa's had pretty much unobstructed farm in this top lane. Nature's Prophet hasn't done anything to stop that 32-9, now lasted on the tower. Fanastoyan is a happy camper, currently sitting on 1800 gold, presumably going for a Midas. I would say is Medusa, although she can fight pretty effectively early with the stats build going into Maelstrom, she really shines at the later portions of the game, and the Midas is going to accelerate her farm, and she benefits pretty heavily from the attack speed as well.
I mean, she has 6 minutes, 1900 gold. Do you think there's a possibility that we're going to see a Radiance Rush Medusa? It's not the worst item to have.
Radiance top tower.
What do you think?
Radiance or Rapier?
Radiance, not Rapier.
Okay.
I'm not that crazy.
I think... Oh, I'd rather see Rapier Rush, but that's just because it's Rapier Rush. I don't know, Radiance Rush Medusa seems so meh. We are going to see in mid lane Alex dying after getting the kill on the Pugna, or will he? Malphus from the low ground. He's going to do a lot of damage before he goes, but he is going to go into 1-for-1 trade. All said and done, still Razor getting the better half of it, getting experience for the kill on the Pugna, but Enigma and Nature's Prophet aren't going to be too sad about that. Radiance Rush Medusa, I don't like it. If you're going to go for a farming item, I think Maelstrom's the way to go. Split shot with the lightning proc, you can clear creeps incredibly fast, and it helps you fight a little bit earlier. I don't think there's a reason to go for Radiance on Medusa.
Alright, so we'll see if what Fanastoyan is actually going to go for. She's holding on to a lot of gold, this Medusa, so no matter what, it should be a large impact item. It's not going to be a large impact item. The ultimate orb is incredibly cost effective. That being said, it's still going to be very helpful in order to build up an eventual Lincoln Sphere, I want to say. Possibility for Mantis style, although Lincoln Sphere is certainly more likely in this scenario. Blocking the disruption from the Shadow Demon, a Sprout, Malphus, those types of things. Going to keep her safe, and the mana regen is more relevant on Medusa than it is on most other heroes.
Yep. I don't know. Medusa, pretty much every ultimate orb item is good for Medusa. Scythe is unconventional, but I don't know. We're probably not going to see it. It's still not bad. So Fanastoyan, I'm not sure there's really a bad choice. It's not really going to be until he gets a couple more items that he really starts shining. Pavita is going to eat a huge amount of damage from the CSO Legion Commander. It's just dropping overwhelming odds on top of him, as well as his Treants, clearing up the Treants almost instantly, as well as doing a huge truckload of damage to Pavita. Pavita is going to be going for the Blade Mail build on his Nature's Prophet, despite lacking the early stat items for it. A very interesting choice, although if he gets caught out inside the Scarth Mage ulti, it could be pretty huge. His disruption goes mid. Onto the Razor, I'm not sure if they can actually follow this up effectively. The Decrepify is going to come out a little too late, and it'll avoid the Pugna Blast. And Alex is going to be no worse for wear here in the middle lane.
CSO might want to consider moving towards the mid lane, although Alex Lee with his Plasma Field is doing a really nice job at clearing out these Eidolons and making sure they don't stack up too much. The score is tied right now, and even though you could say that that's neutral going both ways, the fact that Isurus have such a timer on themselves because they're up against Medusa, and the fact that they have not pressured this Medusa not one bit, means that the longer this game stays like this, where we're going to be pretty much at a standstill, is going to so heavily favor NoEarth that Isurus, they need to start making something happen soon enough. Pugna has taken down almost the mid lane tower, but it's about time where they just go and straight push things or look to start fights, because if they let this game sit for so long, they're going to lose. Blink on the Brewmaster might be the trigger to set everything off, though.
I think that's a pretty solid choice. We're going to, or rather, assumption. Let's see. Brewmaster does have his Thunderclap as well as Primal Split available, and I'm not sure where he's going to strike first, but similarly, Blink Dagger up by the Sand King. He hasn't been doing much with the exception of farming for the last couple of minutes, but he'll have that finished now, and although he doesn't have his level 6, still Blink Burrow Strike to catch somebody off guard is going to be a fairly easy kill, especially on the likes of Pepita or one of the supports.
Well, Dusle and Nidara are both smoked up and now going to try to make Pepita off as bait, and it's going to work. Blink forward for a split on Fan of Soyeon. The Stone Gaze is already there, and it's going to solidify pretty much everything, but Fan of Soyeon is going to go down regardless. Now a heart stuck in the Sprout is going to go down as well. That's the type of play that I want to see from Isurus pretty much non-stop. And then off of that, they should be able to take a tower. This might be a time for CSO to teleport up to the top lane and try to clear this out, and we'll see exactly how good Overwhelming Odds is. Glacius also looking for his level 6, as he has been getting a lot of gold, although not much experience, so Epicenter as well as Overwhelming Odds can very quickly punish Isurus from pushing like this. But we'll see if they actually want to make a defense. CSO is still in the bottom lane, and seems like, oh, here we go. Teleportation all alone, though. Pink is going to teleport in as well. Overwhelming Odds, mostly just hitting creeps, however. Now the press the attack, they're going to get her out of their range, as Razor's actually going to go down solo over in the middle lane. Vanasoy on CSO, now going to duel up against Pepita. This is not a duel that CSO could win. In fact, he's going to stand there awkwardly. Here comes Glacius with a Sandstorm. Okay, that was kind of underwhelming, but now Pepita sprouting himself up. Glacius, they need the Burrow Strike, doesn't have enough mana. Pepita's going to teleport out. Now Vanasoy trying to get as much damage as he can with anyone, but there's not enough lockdown right here. Blink forward for a Burrow Strike will kill off the Enigma, so Medusa does claim that kill. Unfortunately, they also lost the Razor. Don't really know what happened there, and it's going to be a tower going the way of Isurus as well. They lose the Enigma, but they take a whole lot in exchange.
Yeah, in the meantime, in mid, you are going to see Pugna pretty much going 1v2, and is going to come out on top, taking the tower as well. The Pugna having the time of his life. He's going to be going for Necrobook, currently at level 1, getting close to level 2, however, and once we have level 3 Necrobook coming up from Isurus, the pushing power is going to be pretty insane, although it's more fuel for the Overwhelming Odds fire. I don't know, it's kind of been an underwhelming Overwhelming Odds coming up from CSO from now. It's done harass in lane, but that's about it. The next item for Legion is going to be a Force Staff, a fairly peculiar item choice coming out from CSO. I like the Blink Dagger a lot better than Force Staff or Shadow Blade as far as positioning tools are concerned, as you kind of want to be casting Press the Attack before you go in for the duel, but she's more or less going to be played as a utility Legion Commander, the duel more for the lockdown than for the damage until the later portion of the game, as well as just spamming out that Overwhelming Odds. So I suppose it's a decent choice, especially when you have things like the Ultimate from Nature's Prophet, as well as Shadow Poison from the Shadow Demon to cancel the Blink Dagger previously.
Mid lane, Alex is going to get blinked upon, and now the drain from GDX is doing quite a bit of damage, although Razor with the mech is going to keep himself safe from that. Still 63 and Isurus are going to be holding a slight net worth lead. The experience lead is pretty much in anyone's going to go either way right now, as Force Staff is complete at the same time as the Blade Mail. Isurus, they should be about looking for, some aggression. Here we go, smoke up, and they have 4 heroes here. 5th hero is, of course, the Nature's Prophet, so he doesn't need to be in the smoke, and they're going to be roaming around. Might run into this Razor. If he gets caught with the Disruption, or the Courier. Courier's good too, or neither, because they just got revealed, and Alex is going to get sprouted at the very least. Pepita should land this one. Actually misses, and Alex is on the run now. Treants are summoned, and he has backup coming in. Vanasoyan with Stone Gaze is going to catch everyone, force them to fall all the way back to Glacius, who doesn't have a Burrow Strike, nor does he have a Blink, because it got canceled by the Nether Ward. He's going to still kill the Nature's Prophet regardless. Now they're trying to go for Dose, but he's going to get split off. Now Alex Z and Vanasoyan both in a ton of trouble. They're both going to be brought down. CSO off to the sidelines can't do much, but watch. Malphus is there. They're going to throw the Legion Commander up into the air, and I don't think she's going to be able to survive this. Fullback can take a little bit of magic damage, but he does have a black hole ready, and he's going to use it onto CSO as well. No, he doesn't have enough mana, actually. Ran out for some reason. Either way, it's going to be a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Isurus. They lose an Nature's Prophet, not a terribly huge deal, because DDX survives. That means they can push this tower.
And also, the Medusa dying there is pretty crucial. She picks up the power treads as well as the magic wand before she falls, so not a lot of gold lost. But then again, it's a Medusa that's not going to be doing anything for a long time, and right now it's Isurus that are kings of the court. Pugna Blasts are going to drop this tower very low, although the glyph is going to delay things. 4-step forward on the Rays are going to be able to shock down that Shadow Demon. And that's going to be the only pickoff as the rest of the heroes are able to retreat safely. Tier 2 tower, however, is defended by Banner Spirit, and it's still not terrible for them. They have enough map control to where this Medusa can still safely farm, at least in her own jungle, and when lanes are pushing in, which is enough for the Medusa. But honestly, I would have liked to see a Midas a little bit more, or maybe something along the lines of Maelstrom, heck, even the Radiance, if you're able to get away with it. Just something to accelerate the farm, because right now this Ultimate Orb is more or less a dead item.
Yeah, not really contributing that much. Clearly not helping her survive, at least not enough. Top lane is going to be annihilated by CSO. Now going to charge forward for Pita. Sprout is there, and CSO doesn't have any options of getting in, but Pita doesn't actually teleport away. This could be the first duel win for CSO. Teleport out from Pita. Need the duel, not in time. Cast range once again screwing over CSO, and he's not going to be able to get anything. No damage just yet. They're going to go in for mid at the same time, though. Glacius prepping a Burst Strike. Vanasoyan already with Stone Gaze up. He's going to get both trapped in the Sprout, however. DDX taking quite a bit of damage. He's going to try to drain out Alexei. Not going to happen. Also, the Shadow Demon going down as well. Pita now on the run. CSO, now he wants his duel. I don't know if he's going to find it. The Burst Strike's going to miss. Someone get this Legion Commander some duel. There it is. 14 damage. He already has just as much as he had last game. Huge victories for the Legion Commander. Personal victories.
Yep. Only 15 victories on the Legion Commander Arcana, so it's also a huge percentage their boost. Tier 1 tower in mid is also going to fall in the favor of Banner Spirit, and just like that, they're going to find a good advantage. As a huge clap comes in, lands on to 5. Fullback also going to be Burrow struck up. There's not going to be a black hole to follow this one up, although the Brewmaster is wreaking havoc. He's falling very quickly to the split shot of the Medusa, and now the sole Brewmaster Bruling that's left is the Earth one. It's fairly tanky, and he's probably going to come back to this before it falls. Will they be able to get it? They won't. But now Dulce caught between a rock and a hard place, or maybe between lots of rocks and lots of hard places. Dulce is able to TP out. He will. There's no way to cancel that. What happened? There was no Burrow Strike from Sand King available, and that's all that they really have to cancel it outside of ultimates.
That is actually, like, the only thing that they do have is Stone Gaze, which is very improbable. Duel and Burrow Strike, and Burrow Strike was already used, so it's a narrow escape from the Brewmaster, yet it's an escape nonetheless, and I don't think I've ever seen a Brewmaster die that quickly this early on. Like, 50 minutes into the game, it's feasible to see Brewmaster dying within his split form, but not this early. It's very, very rare to see that, and, well, it's actually going to almost happen this game. If he actually went down, I would have just been completely flabbergasted, but it is still going to be Brewmaster, pretty much safe in his split form, assuming he has some support next time, and hopefully that'll be the case, but we'll see if he actually does manage to die in that split form at all of this game, because Medusa does have maxed out split shot, and it's doing some pretty good damage onto a whole bunch of targets, but Vanasoyan might be in a little bit of trouble. He's spotted now. There's the Demonic Purge. Blink for Clap is there, and Vanasoyan instantly into the Stone Gaze. I don't think Isurus can keep chasing this one. This Stone Gaze is going to freeze Dulce, and as well as DDX. Here comes Glacius from the side. Wants a Burrow Strike. Will completely whiff on everyone. Overwhelming odds. Not going to kill off anything either. Necrounit's going to chase down Vanasoyan. They won't do a thing, though, although, wow, almost kill off Medusa. That was a little close, but she is going to survive. Medusa is going to lose her entire mana pool because of only level 1 mana shield, but she does survive. But that's not really the dangerous thing. The dangerous thing is this push, which is going to be supplemented by blasts from Pugna as well as a giant army. Here comes Legion Commander's overwhelming odds chance to shine.
Yeah, I think so too. Medusa, I'm not a huge fan of her build, maxing out the Mystic Snake. I kind of like seeing stats if you're safely farming Medusa. In mid, it's pretty solid as the overwhelming odds obliterates the Root Wave. One Pugna Blast is also going to do some pretty similar damage to the Dire Creeps, but neither team without any creeps available, they're probably not going to fight. Medusa's going to show her head and then pop a arrow into the enemy teams. The Burrow Strike comes from long range on DDX, although the defensive disruption is going to keep him alive for now. Alex is getting into better position. The overwhelming onto the Pugna is going to be blown up. His clap comes again onto multiple units with the Brewmaster throwing the boulder the way of Alex, trying to focus him down. However, this Brewmaster isn't doing enough damage, especially when the heal comes up from CSO. Medusa flying awkwardly up in the air. His fullback also taking a lot of damage as the double Burrow Strike comes up from Sand King. Looking for the Sky's Mage ultimate. It is going to land, get the kill, firstly onto the Enigma, and then they are able to follow up onto the Shadow Demon. They're not going to be able to find any more kills, but I'm not sure that matters. No dual wins for the Legion Commander, but Tier 2 tower in mid is going to be the prize for Ban Earthspirit's latest teamfight win.
And unfortunately for the Legion, she doesn't get any damage from that. CSO is bound to have 14 damage total, and that's going to be unfortunate for the Legion Commander, as I don't think she's been pulling her weight this game. Really, that fight was mostly the Razor drawing so much attention, plus the Mystic Flare landing on everyone. This Medusa's been performing admirably. Normally at this stage, you don't want to be fighting with Medusa. You want to be AFK in your own lane, farming up, but she's actually doing some pretty sizable damage, and Stone Gaze is keeping her relatively safe. You got jumped once or twice, but for the most part, it's doing its job. And NoEarth, they're feeling very comfortable with their position right now. They're going to go for a top lane tower as well, but they're going to channel Epicenter DDX. Duel is there. This might be more damage. No, the disruption is there, and that Duel is going to time out. DDX is going to go down in the end, but now Black Hole onto 2 with a 2-man clap as well. CSO is dead. Glacius, sitting in a sentry, is going to try to burst strike his way out. Probably not going to survive either. Needs one more whack. There it is. Nature's Prophet is going to secure that. In the meantime, top lane tower does go down. That's a pretty nice win for NoEarth, actually. Losing the Legion's not a big deal, nor is losing the Sand King, and they got the tower out of that, so pretty nice for them.
It would have been a lot nicer if they actually got the damage from the Legion Commander duel, but they also killed the Pugna, and Medusa is going to complete up her first item. This one is going to be the Manta style. If she wants to complete that straight up, maybe she backs off for a Lincoln's after a casual Yasha. That could be an option with the amount of gold that she's pooling up. I don't know. We'll see what Phantom Soyan's idea for Medusa build is here, as we don't really get to see Medusa that often, so I don't have a lot to compare it to. But yeah, I'll say that despite losing more in the hero kill department, Banner Spirit are going to be happy with that last exchange. The tier 2 towers on the side of Isurus are not looking healthy at all. Bottom lane is completely intact. Tier 1 tower still hasn't fallen there either. But at this point in the game, it's Isurus that want to be taking the tier 2s, and there's still 3 standing on the side of NoEarth.
I think we could already see Isurus' lineup starting to fall off. I mean, the Brewmaster split is going to be Agnimed, and it now is level 2, but that's about all they have working for them. As fullback's going to be chased down. Where are you going, man? This is not a place to be. Now the duel is there. Can CSO get 28 damage? Looks like it's going to be no. The duel times out, and CSO's got to force staff his way out. Pizza's going to land a duel on Thanasoyan. The Stone Gaze is already out. They're going to chase down CSO. The damage should be there to kill off the Legion Commander, although the heal is pretty intense. CSO still on the run, is going to survive. Where the hell is the rest of Isurus? The Brewmaster is pretty much fighting 1v5 with the rest of the team following very slowly. Now the Brewmaster back into his main form. Going to look to reinitiate, possibly as Nadara and Pepita dropping pretty low. They're both going to escape. And Dulce may not be so lucky. Silenced up, and he's going to be brought down to very low amounts of HP. The Arcane Bolt's going to kill him off. And that's going to be that. Isurus, they take a team fight, but can you even call it a team fight? That was mostly just Brewmaster running at everyone, and everyone from Isurus just trying to catch up. They didn't actually fight as a 5-man unit.
Yeah, it started out that way, but yeah, the Brewmaster just kind of ran into the enemy team, threw many people up in the air, made a lot of stuff happen. He used his spells effectively, but when you don't have any follow-up for it, it doesn't matter. He ended up just getting picked off after the silence comes out from the Skyth Mage. Not much the Brewmaster can do. Yeah, Brewmaster's Aghanim Scepter isn't completed yet, but yeah, Isurus, they're not looking too healthy as a team. Right now, it is going to be Medusa actually backing off for neither Lincoln's nor Manta Style and Scotty. That will be completed very shortly. A lot of stats going the way of Phantom Soyan, and it's a great item for Medusa. I would have liked to see a Lincoln's for a little bit better, but still, anything for the Medusa is going to help at this point.
She's going to take a little bit of every item, ultimately, to get to the item that we didn't expect at all. So, oh, top lane, CSO. Did he get more duel damage? No. CSO is just like cursed or something. If NoEarth are going to be playing the Legion Commander, they need someone else on it, because these duels are not being won by anyone. And, well, it's a tower regardless, and it's going to be a completed Eye of Scotty. It's going to be point booster. It looks like Medusa's just short of that complete Eye of Scotty, and CSO up on top lane, potentially in a lot of trouble. Nether Ward is going to reveal the fact that she's in trouble, and now the Demonic Purge as well. Necrarine is going to get the surround. Force Staff out, not nearly going to be enough. Heal, this time, is not going to be enough either. The rest of NoEarth are in the area, though, and Isurus, they're down without their Brewmaster. Now jump board from Glacius, Epicenter onto DX, bring him down very, very low. Bubble will not save him. In fact, it'll put him in more danger, as he's going to turn around for a blast, but he is going to be brought down slowly but surely. Drain to Phantom Soyan, not going to help enough, although it's doing a lot of damage to Phantom Soyan. It's, yeah, not going to be enough, and that's going to be ultimately a 1-for-1 trade. That's a trade that Isurus can't really be affording to make right now, as they need to be taking kills, they need to be taking more towers. They have a tower disadvantage, and that's just not where they're supposed to be right now. The Legion Commander still not being a huge threat, but everyone from NoEarth, mainly the Medusa, they're not really getting punished by this stage of the game. In fact, they're being helped out quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think it matters much that the Legion Commander isn't doing anything because the Medusa and the Razor are. The Sand King's initiations have been a little bit questionable, usually just snagging 1 or 2 targets with the Epicenter, but that's all he really needs to do. Like, there's not much else. The Medusa is already becoming relevant with now a completed Eye of Skadi, or what will be a completed Eye of Skadi whenever it flies out to her on the courier, as well as working towards the next item. With 1200 gold, Fan of Soyan's going to get big. Whatever the next choice for the Medusa is, I'm not sure it matters that much as long as it's a big ticket item, and it will be.
More ultimate orbs. All of the ultimate orb items, literally every single one. You said all of them are great, and that is so true. Ahart's going to be jumped upon. Brewmaster using his split for a kill is, at this point, probably not worth it. Going for 2 kills, maybe a little bit more, so they're going to find the Sand King as well as CSO, throw the Sand King up into the air, try to kill off this Legion. But the Rock, a little bit slow, and now here comes the Medusa. Stone Gaze is out, and Glacier with the Burrow Strike onto the Nature's Prophet. They might get more damage onto CSO. Duel Slay surviving just a little while longer. The duel's going to time out. They don't get anything. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, and Isurus, now they're on the run. CSO, I'm so sympathetic, man. It's terrible. Now Glacius can land a Burrow Strike onto Nadara. Heals there as well. Fullback is going to land a Black Hole onto Alex Z. Probably will kill off this Razor with that damage from the Midnight Pulse. And now Glacius sitting awkwardly in the Sandstorm. He's going to get blasted down as well. Here comes Fan of Soyan. The damage isn't quite there, although Nadara, if he turns around, the damage will certainly be there. Unfortunately, Fan of Soyan didn't even expect the Shadow Demon to turn around like that. CSO and Fan of Soyan both got to back up for a little bit as Ahart does return to this fight. Now Bubble onto the Legion Commander, but she got her heal off beforehand, so she's healing very large amounts in that Bubble. Now Nadara's going to be blown up as well. Fullback stuck awkwardly in the corner is going to get silenced up. Tagged with the Eye of Scotty. Snake is going to pick him off. That's going to be a huge win for NoEarth, and they can even go for more potentially. Nature's Prophet will pick off the Legion Commander, teleported into the jungle for that one. So now Ahart and Fanasoyan awkwardly all alone in this jungle, in this bottom lane area. But at the end of the day, Isurus, they lose 4, NoEarth, they only lose 3. It's a lot closer than I would have thought, but still, it's a win for NoEarth. Even more so considering the fact that there's such a late game lineup.
Yeah, Medusa, crucially not dying there, is going to be sitting on 3,500 gold, and we'll see very shortly what Medusa is going to get. I assume this is an Eagle Song, and it will be towards the Butterfly, presumably for Medusa. Although Ethereal Blade's not that bad right now for right-clicking carries, but I don't know, there's nobody to disable on the side of Isurus. I don't know, just the raw stats aren't that bad either. I don't think we'll see it. This is probably just a Butterfly.
Yeah, Butterfly is going to give her so much effectiveness, especially if she goes for that man style later on. Her illusions are going to be so tanky, and also they're going to be doing a lot of damage. Mid lane, Sand King in a bubble, he's going to Force Staff and then eventually walk his way out of there, easy peasy. Isurus, they're getting to the point where Pugna is a largely relevant hero. He has level 3 Necro Book, which is always going to be kind of relevant, but the blasts and the drain, it's just not enough. At this point, your Pugna would ideally have Aghanim Scepter at the very least on top of everything else, but that's just not the case. And Isurus, their Pugna is going to start to be a non-factor. Their Enigma Midnight Pulse is going to be the largest factor that he's bringing to the table. Aside from that, their heroes are very quickly running out of steam, whereas NoEarth, they're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So this game is slowly slipping away from Isurus, and I don't know if they could actually do anything about this aside from try to land a miraculous black hole.
Yeah, even if they land the Miraculous Black Hole, I'm not sure if they have enough backup damage in order to clear that up. Nature's Prophet theoretically can be a pretty good right-clicking hero, but right now, Nature's Prophet has very little items that are going to help him do so. He has a Maelstrom, Blade Mail, and Power Treads, and that's it. So Pepita, maybe if he had more items, this would be looking better, but you're, I don't know, staring down the barrel of a Medusa that is 7,000 gold ahead of any hero on your side of the map, which is just not where you want to be. Fan of Soin getting dangerously close to that Butterfly, and once they have it, the items are just too big. The enemy team is up in top, looking for the initiation onto Pepita, now looking for CSO to get in range for that duel. 4-step forward, 4-step backwards, and now I think Pepita's going to be able to be out of here alive as they don't have a way to get vision inside the trees, and they will not be able to find him. I think that was Glacius' 4-staff as secondary that really screwed things up as he kind of just went like rip, rip. Yeah.
That was unfortunate for CSO. He's still going to be at 14 damage. Poor guy, but I mean, I guess Glacius's intentions were good, but it doesn't really matter because the kill escaped, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. Glacius is going to get blinked upon. He will haste rune out, in fact. He is going to be perfectly safe. Isurus kind of low on the for sure disables, and they're going to let that Sand King get away. They couldn't really get anything, even if they had a couple stuns, but still, the fact of the matter is Medusa isn't dying and Isurus aren't pushing. I don't know what they're trying to farm for, but whatever they are trying to farm for, it's not going to be enough. DDX is going to get burrow struck. He's going to blast Glacius down in retaliation, but he's going to find refuge within the rest of his team. But the rest of BanEarth are also here. Roshan is also up. This is spotted by the Radiant. Oh no, this is an... okay, so not spotted by the Observer Ward, but they're going to get a burst strike onto Dulce now, and he's going to take a lot of damage, put into the bubble. But now he's going to get silenced up. Mystic Flare, not there. In fact, the Pugna kills off the Scarith Mage. That's why you don't use Mystic Flare with another ward in the area. Scarith Mage got nothing, and DDX even healing his buddies. That being said, the rest of BanEarth are just going to back up into the Roshan pit. They don't have anyone great to tank this, and they might even be crashed right now, as Dulce off to the sidelines has a level 2 split available. Panasoyan at half HP. Nadara is going to scout everything out, and they know exactly what's going on. There's the Blink Clap split. And now what can they do with this? Glacius can take a lot of damage immediately. He's getting forced out to the high ground. They're going to focus on this Razor. Still, all these Brewlings are just dying. Earth is going to be the last one to survive. Fullback landing the Midnight Pulse onto everyone, though. This is going to be death of Panasoyan as well as Alex Z. Nice team fight for Isurus thus far, especially if they get CSO, and they will. That's going to be almost a complete team wipe. A Heart respawns. Can't do jack about this one. Isurus, they finally get a win under their belt. Unless the Scarith Mage pulls out some heroics, which I don't think is possible. This is going to be an Aegis for the Pugna, yes. And then possibly even a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, suddenly this game got a lot more interesting as Isurus get thrown a bone. BanEarth Spirit, it's a very risky move to go for that Roshan in the face of that Brewmaster, and I thought they'd decide against it. But, I don't know, despite the Brewmaster not doing very much with the split directly, it was the Medusa that ends up killing a Necronomicon unit and then completely tapped out of mana since they're sitting in the Midnight Pulse throughout all of that. And then she dies. It's as simple as that. Tier 2 tower goes away at Isurus, and now up towards top, they're going to rotate with the Nature's Prophet first, keeping there ahead of his team. And this should be two tier 2s going the way of Isurus.
Yeah, and now they're all stacked on gold as well. We'll take a look at the total sum of it after this tier 2 tower does drop, but that was a huge win for Isurus. It's not enough to bring them back in the game, because even though the gold earned may reflect this game to be even, the fact of the matter is BanEarth have Medusa, and you can't really beat a Medusa late game, especially with what Isurus have right now. But let's take a quick look at what it's looking at. They just overcame a 10,000 gold disadvantage to bring it all the way back to 2k in favor of BanEarth. And experience is now technically in favor of Isurus, so this is 0.82B at its finest. If this was 0.82, Isurus would be so far ahead right now, but unfortunately for them, patching and such. And now they're going to be still climbing uphill, but with a couple more items, so it might be actually kind of possible for them to come back into this.
Yeah, let's see. Fan of Soin, the Butterfly is going to make it a lot more difficult for them to do so, as the MKB is a distant dream for a Nature's Prophet, and probably won't be considering that for quite some time. His item of choice for Pepita is going to be a Scythe of Vice, which will be very useful, and he's actually getting pretty darn close to it after that very convincing teamfight win. Pugna Aghanim Scepter is going to be pretty cool to see. I want to see like him draining people and then healing the rest of his team just constantly with 0 cooldown on the ultimate. I am interested to see how that's going to work. But yeah. The Legion Commander dueling hasn't panned out for BanEarth Spirit, and it's going to be a Shiva's Guard for Legion Commander, just fully in that utility role. The damage isn't going to come out from this Legion ever, I don't think, if it does at all. Fan of Soyan, Casual Yasha Butterfly Scotty is a pretty happy Medusa for this point in the game, and they're going to find themselves another tier 2 tower. Down in the bottom lane, all of the tier 2s bar 1 have fallen, and that tier 1 tower down in bottom isn't looking too healthy either. If Isurus win a teamfight, it's not long for this world.
Alright, so while that tier 2 tower was dropping, minor amounts of pressure up towards top as well as towards the mid lane. Nothing that Isurus can really call a win just yet. I actually don't know what they're waiting for. Obviously, they don't really want to push straight into BanEarth since, I mean, it isn't going to really work out well for them. But they're not looking for these single pickoffs either. So they should be just constantly smoking and looking to get someone, and they do have one smoke available, so I get out of my face. There we go. Okay, not really sure what they're waiting for. Sheepstick is a nice item to go off of. If they could pick off the Legion Commander here, that will be a pretty nice win, but with only these two heroes in the area, they probably don't have enough damage. They need Midnight Pulse and Hex, and maybe even a Black Hole. This Legion Commander is really tanky.
Yeah, fair enough. Medusa currently doing the ancient farming thing, and we'll be able to get a little bit of gold that way. It's going to be pretty passive. I think we're not going to see a huge fight unless somebody gets caught out of position. The next Roshan, potentially the next objective that either team is going to go for. But Isurus, they're just waiting for somebody to get caught off of guard, and NoEarth are just waiting for Medusa to get six-slotted. So there's not really any pressure on NoEarth to do much, with the exception just being not getting caught out from Isurus.
And Medusa is going to be as happy as anyone could possibly be with this stage of the game. She is one of the most dominant late game heroes that you could possibly pick up, and that's kind of why we don't see her that often. But if she somehow gets this amount of time where she's completely unhindered in farm, then she is going to be just running this game. And it's at the 30-minute mark. This is usually the time where I say Pugna has completely fallen off. He now has Aghanims and a plate mail, so he's still somewhat durable, but the damage he can put out is severely restricted. And NoEarth, they have a Medusa. And 40 minutes is really when Medusa kicks into full gear, although being 6-slotted is coming a lot earlier. Now Dulce is going to get dueled up. This is finally going to be more damage for CSO. 32 damage. Holy crap. This Legion Commander is doing so much deeps. And now fullback going to get bro struck up with the Medusa following right behind. Fullback's looking for a black hole. Can't even find it in time. That's 2 down for NoEarth. And now they're going to go straight down the bottom lane. The creep wave is, I think, pushing towards the Dire, so they can't get this fight where they want to, but they're more than okay with just going towards the mid lane instead.
Yep, Medusa now on another 3,000 gold or so can complete up the Mantis style, and then just work for more stats, maybe go for a Daedalus, maybe go for something else, just a heavy hitting item. Medusa is getting is getting very scary for Isurus to deal with if she wasn't already. And now onto the high ground they go. The Pugnablasts are going to be annoying, but with the Razor ultimate that's Aghanimed up, coming out from Alex Z, they are going to put a lot of hurt in this tier 3 tower. They are going to force that forward DDX and into a Bro Strike. The dual victory is going to come there for CSO. That's going to be even more damage for your Legion Commander. 17 career dual wins for CSO as well. And now the barracks are going to fall suit as the melee barracks is going to fall pretty much solo to Alex Z. The Pugna Drains are going to be annoying on the sidelines. Brewmaster looking for the split. The Burrow Strike is not going to come out fast enough as everybody's on a full retreat. The Razor on the sidelines is going to be dropped, but the Medusa is able to take down the barracks. Fantasonian getting sucked up by DDX, and now the Hex coming out. The Epicenter doing very little to nothing. Now they get the Burrow Strike onto DDX. Fantasonian is able to clean that one up. Now caught between trees. Fantasonian fighting for all he's worth. Doesn't have an Aegis or anything of the sorts and is going to fall. And now they're also going to clean up the Sand King. A messy engagement from Ban Earth Spirit, but crucially, the melee barracks fall.
And also crucially, I don't think Isurus can crack back very hard. Top lane was pushed a little bit, forcing the Legion Commander back kind of prematurely. But regardless, they do take 4 kills in exchange for 1. And there's something to be said about that. Pepita thinking about teleporting up to the top lane. CSO seeing that, and he's already prepared for the overwhelming odds. And duel, Shivas is there. Duel, not going to happen just yet. Hex is there. And now CSO, if he duels, this might be damage going the way of Pepita because he does have back and fullback. He's going to stun up CSO. But 4 staff out, Legion Commander is very durable. There's the heal, but now Sprout out with the Midnight Pulse on top of it. I think this is going to be the death of the Legion Commander. And NoEarth, they might be forced to buy back right here. They have 2 buybacks, Sand King and Medusa. They might lose Raxes here. There's a lot of pressure up in this top lane.
Suddenly this game looks completely different. 20 seconds might be too long for the Medusa. They do have a glyph to delay things, and they'll probably try for all that they're worth to not spend that buyback on the Medusa, as she'd really like to have another big item for this next fight, or after the next fight for that matter. 10 seconds, they're going to delay this with the plasma field, and I think they'll be able to save the Medusa from buying back, but they won't have the Legion Commander in this next fight. Not to say that the Legion Commander is the most impactful, but it's still significant. Silence on to Pepita. He's going to try to TP out, but then gets caught out by the Mystic Flare and will be forced to cancel that one. He is going to drop eventually as Alex, he gets a decent link off from the Razor. With the Force Staff, it's going to be even more so. Fullback being chased down with a lot of damage being stolen, 168 for that matter, on Alex. He is on the sidelines. They find themselves in the Dare as they also get that kill onto the Enigma, and 3 heroes falling in favor of NoEarth. Suddenly, it's back in NoEarth Spirit's ball court, as they're going to have the completed Mantis Style and the Medusa, as well as buyback available if things go really south for them. And now it's time for them to barrel down mid and look towards bottom lane, as that's where they're heading on the map.
Yeah, that's more or less the fight I would expect from NoEarth. That seems more par for the course. Now the initiation onto DDX as well. He's silenced, and I think I've seen this episode before. Pugna doesn't live. Spoiler alert. Melee racks is already taken. Now they're going to go for the range racks and then slide down bottom. Thanasoyan, maxed out mana shield, more than happy to tank up a couple shots of this tower, but not too many. They do still have a black hole in Isurus. If they land the black hole with Midnight Pulse, this can be enough to defend their tower. Dulce is also in the area with Split. They have to do something. If they sit back, they're just going to lose. But look at this positioning for NoEarth. They can't get a 2-man black hole off of this, let alone a 4-man. So, tower down. Rax is soon to follow. And Isurus, their Nature's Prophet is back. Dulce going to blink straight in for a split. But Pandasoyon's not even moving. Annihilating the fire, then the storm. Earth Spirit, the last one to remain. Now fullback, looking for a black hole. But the stone form, he's going to get turned to stone. And now he can't move. He's got to run. Here comes Glacius' Epicenter. Not doing too much. In fact, misses the Burrow Strike as well. But Enigma's down. He has no buyback. And now Nadera, silenced up, being zapped down by Alexi. They also get the Sprout onto Dulce with Pandasoyon just doing damage from the back lines. This is going to be almost a complete cleanup. That is going to be a complete cleanup. CSO wins yet another duel. 68 damage for this Legion commander. And that is going to be the end of the series, guys. Isurus, they don't exactly perform their lineup as it should be. They don't punish the Medusa, and that's going to cost them this game.
Yeah, more or less. I don't think we expected anything different if this game went longer than 30 minutes or so. But yeah, that's going to sum it up. It felt like a whole lot longer than just a best of 3, as we've been sitting here for almost 4 hours because of all the pauses and remakes and what have you. But either way, it is going to be a win for NoEarth Spirit. After all is said and done, I wasn't a huge fan of that last pick coming out for NoEarth Spirit, especially since they weren't able to get some teamfight wins. There was a hope of a comeback at one point, one really big teamfight win, but they weren't able to replicate that.
Alright guys, so NoEarth Spirit now, I believe guaranteed a spot in Division 1. Isurus are going to drop and face, I believe, Root. So not the easiest matchup for them, but it's definitely something that they can win. NoEarth Spirit going to be very happy about this, and they're going to move on to face, oh man, I don't remember, and I closed the tab, so I unfortunately can't tell you that information right now, but it's not important. We'll cast that one eventually. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. If you did, make sure to hit that follow button. Also, twitter.com, facebook.com/HeflaTV. We're going to find us. YouTube VODs will be up on youtube.com/HeflaMoke within a couple of hours, and that's about it for the channels. Although, if you liked us personally, I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis V. You can find us at Twitter, at Mike Loris, at Grandis V. And, wow, these games were certainly very long, so all the pauses. Do you have anything else to say, man?
Not really. Long games, they were pretty good ones. Don't build Desolator on Tidehunter, and that'll about sum it up. GG to both teams.
Alright, guys, GG. It's elephant time.